Okay, this is a review of The Mysterious Valley by Christopher O'Brien. This is a follow-up review to my previous book review on Enter the Valley, also by Christopher O'Brien. Now, I actually read Enter the Valley first and then got sucked into that, and then I had to run down a copy of The Mysterious Valley, which sets the stage and tone for the second book. So both of these are kind of investigative reports on all the weird activity in the San Luis Valley in south central Colorado and northern New Mexico. The San Luis Valley runs from just south of Salida or whatever down to around the Taos area or so. But that area is full of strange activities as chronicled in The Mysterious Valley by Christopher O'Brien. So this book, I believe, was published in around 96. Yep, 1996. And I think I got this copy in 99 or so from Barnes & Noble. And as I mentioned in the review of Enter the Valley, one of the things I was really fascinated with was his discussion of the cattle mutilation phenomenon that is prolific throughout the San Luis Valley area. And in fact, if you go to that area now and you ask some of the locals, they'll tell you about all kinds of strange things. And the cattle mutilations are especially strange because recently there's been a lot of effort to tie that to UFO activity and say that it must be aliens, or it's kind of a binary situation where you usually are presented with the options of this is aliens visiting from another planet, stealing parts off the cows, or it's all mass hysteria. The farmers or ranchers are making it up just to get insurance money from on their dead cows. But one of the things that I found I was familiar with the cattle mutilation phenomenon before I read either of these books, but Mr. O'Brien does a great job of really getting into some of the details of it. Like one of the things he talks about in here that's of an important note, and one of the reasons this is part of my library, is he gets into discussing names, places, dates, and for instance, discusses a lot with the Taylor Ranch, which I think has since been sold off and parceled out to other. I think there's a lot of other people that have bought up property in what was the massive Taylor Ranch that I think was down in the northern part of New Mexico as part of the San Luis Valley. But he actually talks about helicopters coming and going from the Taylor Ranch, which I found very interesting, and reports a lot of strange helicopter activity. And he was also kind enough through this book to introduce me to the work of Tom Adams and Gary Massey, who were researching the phenomenon from Texas. They were, I believe, out of Paris, Texas, and wrote the newsletter called Stigmata. So anyway, this is a great, again, kind of a gateway drug to this. This is definitely a great treatment of the subject. And even though this is not just a book on cattle mutilations, he goes into a lot of other strange phenomena, but like ghosts and hauntings in the valley, people citing stuff like Bigfoot and other creatures and things like that, but just lots of weird stuff. And of course, UFOs, cattle mutilation, all that. So great reading material if you're going to be in the San Luis Valley and you want to read up on some of the strange goings on. And as I mentioned in my other review, I can't stress this enough. If you're visiting there, don't mention UFOs or aliens. Just ask some of the locals, hey, have you ever seen anything weird happen around here? And you will be amazed that almost to a man, you will get unequivocal, yes, there's weird stuff that happens all the time. Let me tell you X, Y, and Z, and they'll tell you stories. And almost every time I've been to that area, if I ever have a chance to speak with the locals and ask them, every single time I get some crazy stories. So be sure to, if you're visiting, ask questions, poke around. Again, leave off the aliens and the UFOs and just ask people if they ever see anything weird, and the floodgates will open typically. So be sure to check that out. That's why I have this copy. And this is not as severely dog-eared as my copy of Enter the Valley, but nevertheless, I do have some of it marked, and I've got an old bookmark here at the Costilla Sheriff's Report section for some reason there. And I'm not sure if this includes a map of the area or not. But again, great material if you're into that. If you're into any kind of weird, unknown, unsolved mysteries, this is a great entry point into the world of UFOs, cattle mutilations, that sort of thing. And as a side note, I purchased this right after I'd moved to Dallas, and I was starting to get more and more into this. So like I said, the first book, the Enter the Valley book, really got me interested, and I started digging further and found this at, I think I found this over at Barnes & Noble here in Richardson, but this is right after I moved back to Richardson from Lubbock, and in early or mid 99. And anyway, great book, great reference material as far as cattle mutilations and unknown phenomenon go. So I keep this in my section on weird military activity and UFO activity, and of course cattle mutilations. And cattle mutilations are a weird subject, and you'll see in some of my other reviews on other books on the subject, it's a strange topic, and it gets weirder the deeper you dive into it. So there you go. The Mysterious Valley by Christopher O'Brien from 1996.